So all knowledge, right, when identified with, becomes fuel for the false self, the ego, and I really mean all knowledge. So it often happens, that spiritual communities, teachings, traditions, their whole aim to simplify it is sort of to get rid of this false self. But due to like them being sort of outdated in their expression and misunderstood so often, and due to the lack of genuine guidance, right, these teachings become another thing, another piece of knowledge that produces another knower. So as long as you think you know something, you think there's a you who knows something, and that's again the ego, right? So knowledge, when clung to not as just another thing that arises within experience, such as like the weather in the sky, when clung to as something that's known by somebody, it becomes a subtle reinforcement of this self. So can we look at experience without anyone looking, without any knowledge, and can we let all the insight that arises not become knowledge that somebody possesses? You see, you've probably heard of people having glimpses of truth, all these abstract terms. I don't want to put too many definitions on anything, but you've heard of people having glimpses. So why did they stay at glimpses, right? Because if you do look at the Buddha, his awakening under the Bodhi tree was complete and final. So what's the difference? Why do some people have glimpses? And I'm using the word some people as a convention, as a figure of speech. And the Buddha, for example, just saw and didn't unsee. Well, that's because the mind. See, imagine it like this. Whatever you are, you're walking and you see a beautiful sunset. And that sunset is so beautiful that all there is the sunset. There is no you. And this feels amazing. There's just, no split. And then the mind starts talking. Oh my God, that felt amazing. I had an amazing feeling. Oh, it was like I was gone. You get what I mean? It takes claim of the experience and turns it into knowledge of that was amazing. I felt amazing. So the trick is to, I guess some people call it mindfulness, but like that term has too many things associated with it these days, but just to see, to have non-judgmental awareness of your thoughts. And then you see that the thoughts are just noises of the mind. Just how when I see this tree, the word tree is just a noise. The thought tree is just a mental noise. And just how I couldn't choose to give this tree as an example, really. It's just what I saw, and that's what I pointed to. So too, you don't choose what you think. It comes out of seeing, and seeing itself is non-personal. That's a claim, that's a conclusion, my bad, but check it out. It's not just a claim, it's a pointer. If you look, there's no one looking. There's just seeing. Like, I know I've explained this many times, and I know this is really hard to understand because it cannot be understood as knowledge. And it can't be seen by anybody. You have to see that it's just the seeing. And that's why mindfulness comes in, because if you look non-judgmentally, and non-judgmentally means looking at things as they really are, which is when you see a tree, you don't say this is a tree, you see it exactly how it is. Not like, oh, this is a tree, it's brown, it's leaking moss or sap or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just a tree. I mean, just whatever is seen, like you don't label it. And you always see like this, the labels are just mental noises, you know? It's when we take them seriously, it's like you think you don't see clearly. You always see clearly. That's why there's no such thing as enlightenment, because like, what, did you ever not actually see the tree for what it is, or did you just like see it and then a story? This is a tree, it's this, it's that, you know what I'm saying? You never actually not see clearly. You always hear the sound clearly. There's no one hearing, there doesn't have to be anyone hearing. That's the point of the sunset, right? There's this split. That's what I was trying to say earlier, but I forgot. So the moment there's a watcher and what's watched, there's a split, right? There's me watching. So this split, it's a conflict, right? Because when it's pleasant, sure, we even forget ourselves. We just fully enjoy the pleasant experience. That's why people like them so much. But when it's hard, there's a split. Pain and me feeling the pain. When I hope through these videos, for those who've been watching them, we've established that the feeling of something is the knowing of something. So the feeling of pain is the knowing, the awareness of pain, right? The pain itself is the knowing of pain. There's no pain separate from its knowing. Therefore, it's not even a conclusion. It can be seen directly that there's no one who knows or feels pain. There is just pain as a feeling being known by itself. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You gotta kind of look at it. It doesn't make sense when put into words, because human has this subject-object, human language has this subject-object thing going on. And because there's a body and there seems to be a location and the pain is located somewhere on the body, we assume it's me who's feeling it, right? It's a not too out there of an assumption, to be fair, but indeed it's not how it actually is when seen clearly, because even position and everything is just a sensation in the experience, non-personal, really. Like there's this helpful thing people do where they identify as awareness, you know, and they can sort of spiritually bypass a lot of the pain and unpleasantness. And it's a useful tool. It's useful to split awareness and what it's aware of, okay? But it's often a trap, because then people start to spiritually bypass and think that's enlightenment. I'm awareness. I am the witness. I am God watching. I am being itself, or like whatever. They form a split. They form the unconditioned and the conditioned, right? Which doesn't make sense, because the unconditioned has to be completely imaginary. Because to be fair, you can't really perceive it. There is just a selfless knowing. Do you know what I mean? Like whatever you perceive, there's just a perception. There is no real you perceive, because even what you feel is you, is just the sensations of the body. Maybe you feel a tension in your eyes, maybe there's thoughts and they arise so consistently it gives an illusion of a self. But see, awareness is a useful like resting place, a refuge. In the Lotus Sutra, I think resting as awareness, that's a modern term for what they call nirvana. But what I'm trying to say is, even in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha said, like, he enumerated nirvana as a sort of refuge, right? Towards Samyak Sambodhi, which is like in the Heart Sutra, no self, no suffering, no ending of suffering, you know, no eyes, ears, tongue, that thing. The Heart Sutra, great text. But that's kind of the final teaching of Buddhism. Like, there is no final teaching, because there is no teaching, because all they're doing is pointing to something that was never lost and is always the case. So that's why it's funny, right? Because people think, oh, awakening, I'm gonna like get some piece of knowledge, or my seeing's gonna change, or anything's gonna change. Really, nothing is changing, because there's nothing to change. Like, it's just how it is, you know. He said seeing things as they really are, and let's be honest, if you see things as they really are, then they've always been like they really are, you know. Nothing changes. It's just this story, blah blah blah, mind noises given meaning through the context of language, that create a split in me and other, seer and seen, thinker and thought, feeler and feeling. And this split, when viewed through the context of this imaginary character who has these imaginary preferences and dislikes and whatever, creates conflict and has these wants. Identifying with the wants creates selfishness, greed, you know, nothing no, I know I'm sounding confusing and jumping all over the place, but this is really like difficult to point out something so simple, because it's like you're pointing at nothing. You're pointing at, look, exactly how it is how it is, and anything you tell yourself about it, it's not how it is, it's an abstraction. And then it almost seems like I'm denying all knowledge, and then people get all these sort of misconceptions that like, oh, then like I'm not allowed to like things, or like liking things is not something that naturally arises. See, the Buddha didn't say, oh, abandon stuff. Like, sure, the teachings were for monks, you know, there's monks, the monastics, whatever, different times, different methods. But in essence, the Buddha said, if you understand existence as it truly is, you will stop suffering. No need to really give up anything, because in the end, you see, there's no one to give up anything. There's just what is the suchness of things, the suchness of the experience. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think I had anything else to say. Yeah, have a good one.